Hello, my fellow veterans, and welcome to Veterans Advice Hub. My name is Bill Kelly, and before we start today's video, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to the Veterans Advice Hub YouTube channel. This helps increase visibility across the veteran community and helps people find us when they're doing searches for various topics. So today's video is really a response to a lot of negative feedback that I've been getting from veterans that have missed out on the opportunity to use some of their earned VA benefits because they didn't understand the eligibility requirements and didn't know there were limits on what you could and couldn't use. The first one that comes to mind is the post 9/11 GI Bill. This is a wildly popular program, but when it was first instituted, there was a 15-year time limit. So you had to use that benefit within 15 years of your leaving the service. Now, the post 9/11 forever GI Bill fixed this timeline, this time restriction, except it doesn't go into effect. It didn't go into effect for veterans who left the service before 2013. So if you left the service after 2013, there's no time limit. But if you served in 2001, 2002, 2003, and so on, anytime prior to 2013, there is a 15-year limit. So if you served earlier in the ongoing conflict, you qualified for the post 9/11 GI Bill, but you might not be eligible any longer if you haven't actually taken advantage of it within the 15 years. So, it's 2020. So go back. If you're in the I got out in 2001 to 2005 category, you might not be able to use this benefit because you've missed the window. Another thing, fantastic element of that earned benefit is the transferring it to your dependents. Well, you have to understand what the requirements are. You have to do that while you're still in service. Once you get out, you cannot transfer it to your dependents. So you've missed that opportunity to do it. And by the way, it's not really an earned benefit. They call it a retention tool. So there are specific requirements even while you're in service that you have to meet. And you might have to actually obligate additional time to have the ability to actually transfer that benefit to your dependents. So my point is that there are a lot of different requirements for different programs. Another one that comes up, VA medical. There are different priority groups. There's 8 of them. And the poorest of the poor veterans, lowest income, or those with the severest service-connected disabilities have some of the higher priorities. If you were a veteran and you were lucky enough to not have a service-connected illness, but you need health care just like everyone does, and if you make over the VA income threshold, you're going to be in priority group 8, which just means that it's going to be very hard for you to get an appointment for the services that you need because you're competing against all the other higher priority veterans for ultimately a limited resource. That's why they have the priority codes, because they're saying the ability to provide medical services is a finite resource. So we have to prioritize how we do that. And, you can look at the VA website. I'll provide a link below that has what those priority groups are. But, it's not automatic. You have to go and read and understand what the entitlement actually says and what the eligibility actually is. Another one, VA home loan benefit, great benefit, fantastic opportunity for veterans to get into homes. Great rates, no mortgage insurance, 100% financing. New recently this year, if you have full entitlement, there's no county limit for what you can actually borrow. It's what you can qualify for, all of which is good. But not every veteran is treated the same. If you were on active duty during wartime, which is the Gulf War period, say 1990 onward, you need 2 years of active duty service to be eligible. That's your standard soldier, sailor, airman, Coast Guardman, Marine. The typical enlistee needs 2 years. If you were a National Guard or reservist and you got activated on Title 10, you actually only need 90 days during wartime or 180 days during peacetime to be eligible for the program. So, though, I mean, those two things are different. If you are an active duty soldier, you need to show the 2 years. If you were a National Guardsman and you never deployed, but you did your time, and you even if you had a career as a National Guardsman, but you never got deployed under Title 10, your requirement is different. You need 6 good years of service if you're a National Guard member or a drilling reservist who never deployed on Title 10. So every one of those hurricanes you got called out for by the governor, that's not Title 10 service. So those requirements are different. On the other side, you hear things that are wrong all the time too. You can use your VA home loan benefit more than once. You can have more than one VA property if you meet the requirements. So my point is, there's a lot of specific details in there. Another big one, VA disability. I could go on for days about the differences and the nuances associated with service-connected versus not service-connected. But like a big one that I run into all the time, your time in boot camp does not count as your in-service time to be eligible for really for anything. It just doesn't count. But people don't know that, or they think it should count. They haven't read what the requirements really are. So my point in this video, and I'm not trying to harangue anybody, I'm just telling you that veterans can be mad about missing out on these opportunities, but my advice to everyone is do your own research. Go to the source. Go to the VA website. Look up the program you're interested in. Click the eligibility link. Read what it says. Decide whether it applies to you, and then figure out how to actually access that benefit and make the application for those services. Don't listen to the fellas in the barracks. Don't listen to the educational services officer unless you're willing to sit there with them and go over, hey, this is what the eligibility requirements are. How does this apply to me? You both should be very well educated before you miss out on an opportunity. You earn these benefits. They're in many ways fantastic benefits that can be leveraged, and they interlock with each other. VA disability has an impact on VA home loans. VA medical and VA disability can be tied together depending on your situation. So, I mean, there's a lot of good that can be done, and you earned all of these benefits. Please understand what the eligibility requirements are so you can maximize your use of these benefits that you earned. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you for your service.